Hey, Conor here, Neversink farm, and things are getting hot. Summer's almost here, and irrigation is probably on your mind, right? As you plant, as you seed, everything's got to be irrigated. And whether it's a family garden like this, or it's the farm, as it is over there, I irrigate the outside the same way, and that's with overhead. And the reason for that is because the other option is drip. And if I'm trying to germinate carrots, right, here we have a carrot bed, there'd be no way to germinate that on drip. Drip is less water, but over a longer period of time, and it's going to be out of emitters. So you're really just going to get a cone of water, right, that's going to spread and going to go underground. And it can water very deeply. It's efficient in the sense of you're putting water where you need it, which is really great. And it's also good if you have no pressure, if you have no water pressure. But in terms of growing the best vegetables, growing the biggest vegetables, being able to germinate, being able to water after you plant, drip is just not the ideal choice for outdoor irrigation. Overhead is really the choice. And this is the overhead I use, which is just a wobbler, right? That's what they're called. There's a few different types of them. And an overhead irrigation is what it seems. It's spreading water. It's you call it a sprinkler. And it's a very even watering over the entire area. And that's perfect for germinating something like carrots because it's going to be even, which is what you want. Another good tip about watering in the field is having your irrigation out of the way. Because if you have irrigation, like let's say a tripod or something that you have to put in the middle of the paths, and I've done this before, they are just a hazard. You're walking along, you trip over that thing, and it's deadly. It also gets in the way if you're irrigating or if you're harvesting, if you're moving your totes around, it's in the way. But something that sits at the edge of the bed is ideal. It's just out of the way. You can continue to cultivate, you can continue to walk by and do whatever you need to do. Another tip for watering in the field, if you can, it's better to water in the morning on a sunny day so that things can dry off before noon. It's just going to be better for the plants. They like to be dry. One drawback to wobblers is your pressure. As I said, with the drip, you have, it's very good if you have low pressure. So when I started the farm, I had a gravity well. So it was just gravity-fed water from a spring. So not a well, but a spring off the hill, and then came down, fed by gravity. And so I had about 8 pounds of pressure, which isn't gonna water even one of these. It's not gonna give enough pressure for one of these. But drip, relatively okay, but everything was spotty. This is gonna require probably at least 25, like house pressure, home pressure. To do a lot of them, you're going to need more water, bigger lines. But that's really the only drawback to it that I find. And lastly, one tip is that I find, at least on a farm, and this is probably true in a garden too, is that if it's permanently in place, which mine are, right? So this one is here in the garden, right? I only have to put it in the spring, right? Because you don't want it, getting frozen, filled with water. But it's here permanently, just like in the farm, they're all permanent, because then you can walk over, pull up a hydrant, or turn on your hose and water when it needs it. And that's really important because let's say we're just planting and we just planted some flowers or some lettuce heads. You always want to water immediately afterwards, and you don't want to wait. You don't want to wait and say, oh, well, I'm watering over there, so I'm going to wait till that's done. Then I'm going to move my sprinklers over, and I'm going to drag some hoses, and maybe I'll get to it tomorrow. Always better to have them permanently in place in every spot on the farm or garden, and everything's going to get the water they need. Because underwatering plants is, you know, not good, because, you know, vegetables are like 80–90% water. Thanks for watching, and until next time.